Hello, welcome to the Mark Janot Show, the cybersecurity show. You're switching to Linux, but you don't even know the commands to use. In this video, I'm going to go over beginner and advanced Linux commands you must know. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going dark. So when it comes to file and directory operations, there's the ls, right? The list directory contents, right? This lists files and directories in the current directory, right? The useful options is the 1, which is the long format with details. There's the show hidden files, the A. The H is human readable file sizes. There's the CD, change directory, which navigates between directories. Example, you have cd/path/to/directory to change to a specific directory. There is CD to move up one directory. There is CD with the squiggly line thing, right, to go to the home directory. There's PWD, which is print working directory, and you know, it basically displays the current directory path. You have MKDIR, the make directory that creates new directories. Some example is mkdir new _ folder. You have rm, which is remove files or directories, that deletes files and directories. Use with caution though. Use that one with caution. Here's some important options, right? R is the recursive deletion for directories. F is the forced deletion without prompts. CP is the copy files and directories, which copies files or directories from one location to another. Example is the cp source _ file, destination _ folder slash, that's the mv, or their move or rename files and directories. You have, that moves files / directories or renames them. Example is mv old _ name.txt, and then new _ name.txt. Now, when it comes to file viewing and editing, you have the cat, that's concatenate and display file contents. For displaying file contents on the terminal, grep, right, which search text using patterns, searches for specific patterns in files or output. Example is grep, in parentheses error log _ file.txt, nano or vim for text editors for editing text files directly in the terminal. Now, when it comes to system information and management, you have the top, right? The display system processes. It shows real-time view of running processes, the interactive interface for process management. Please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and the like button. If you're liking this video, if you're learning, hit that subscribe button and the like button, please. You have PS, which report process status, which lists running processes. DF is the report file system disk space, usage, which shows available and used disk space. You have the DU, which estimate file space usage, displays file and directory sizes. Sudo, execute command as super user, runs commands with administrative privileges. User management, you have the user add, that creates a new user, adds a new user account. You have the passwd, change user password, updates user passwords. Now, networking, however, you have ping, the send ICMP echo request to network hosts, test network connectivity, if config or IP, configure network interfaces, displays or configures network interfaces. So these commands form the foundation of Linux system administration, and are essential for managing files, processes, users, and system resources. Remember to use man command to access detailed manual pages for each command, providing comprehensive information on usage and options. So now let's get into the advanced side of things, right? Here are some of the advanced Linux commands for system administration, right? Let's get into a little bit. Okay, so we have process and system monitoring, right? HTOP, which is an interactive process viewer, which provides a more user-friendly and feature-rich alternative to top, right? It allows for easy process management and resource monitoring. You have the IOTOP, which is the I/O monitoring tool, which displays real-time disk I/O and process statistics, that helps identify which processes are causing heavy disk usage. You have the Strace, right, which trace system calls and signals, useful for debugging and understanding how processes interact with the system. You have Syntax, that's the Strace options command. Network administration, you have the NetStat, right, the network statistics, which displays network connections, routing tables, and interface statistics. The useful options is the TULN, which show active TCP and UDP connections. You have the R, which displays a routing table, right, the TCP dump. The packet analyzer captures and displays network traffic in real time. which is helpful for troubleshooting network issues and security analysis. You have IP tables, which is firewall management, which configures Linux kernel firewall used to set up, maintain, and inspect IP packet filter rules. You have file system management, which is the LSOF, the list open files, which shows files are open by which processes, right? It's useful for identifying processes, holding file logs, or using specific files. You have the DD, which convert and copy files. It's basically a versatile tool for disk operations, including creating disk images and wiping data. Peter, you can put that example on the screen for the users, right? There's the DD IF and then the equals dev, right? You have the rsync, and that's the remote file synchronization, which efficiently synchronizes files and directories between local and remote systems. It supports incremental backups and secure transfers over SSH. You have system configuration, right? The system CTL, which is the control, you can control the system, D system and service manager, right? It manages system services, including starting, stopping, and checking status. Example, you have the system CTL status and Jinx, right? You have the journal CTL query, the system MD journal allows viewing and querying system logs. There's useful options. There's the U unit, which shows logs for a specific service. You have B, which shows logs since last boot. You have CH root, which change root directory, which creates an isolated environment with a new root directory, useful for system recovery and testing performance tuning. You have the nice and renice, right? Which adjusts process priority. Nice starts, a process with modified scheduling priority. Renice alters the priority of an already running process, right? You have the sys, CTL, which you can configure kernel parameters at runtime. It modifies kernel settings without rebooting. The example is the sysctl and then the -w, the net.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1. So basically these advanced commands provide powerful tools for system administrators to monitor, configure, and troubleshoot Linux systems effectively. Mastering these commands can significantly enhance your ability to manage and optimize Linux environments. So there are some best practices for the sudo command. We touched on it a little bit, but let's get a little bit in touch with the sudo command because it's very interesting, right? Use the sudo judiciously, right? You only use sudo when absolutely necessary for tasks that require elevated privileges. Avoid using it for routine operations that don't need root access. Create a separate admin user account for administrative tasks rather than giving your regular user full sudo privileges. This provides an extra layer of security. This is a cybersecurity channel. You guys want to use Linux, use it with discretion, right? Also configure sudo properly, right? Edit the sudoers file using the visudo command to ensure proper syntax. This prevents accidentally locking yourself out of sudo access. Grant specific sudo permissions rather than blanket access. Use command aliases in the sudoers file to group related commands. Set a short timeout for sudo sessions, like 5 minutes, so elevated privileges don't persist unnecessarily. Now, when it comes to enhanced security, right? Use absolute paths when specifying commands in sudoers to prevent potential abuse. Enable sudo logging to maintain an audit trail of elevated commands. Check logs regularly for suspicious activity. Consider using multi-factor authentication for sudo access on sensitive systems. Follow best practices, right? Never run graphical applications with sudo. Use jksudo or similar for GUI apps requiring elevation. Be extremely careful when using sudo with commands that can modify critical system files or configurations. Educate users on proper sudo usage and the risk of misuse. Emphasize that sudo access is a responsibility, right? You're also going to want to audit and monitor. Regularly review sudo configurations and permissions to ensure they align with the principle of least privilege. Monitor sudo usage patterns and investigate any anomalies that could indicate compromise or misuse. Okay, that's what I have for you today. Please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and the like button if you like this video, if you appreciate it, if you learned, if you came in here and you got what you were looking for. Please hit that subscribe button and the like button. Also hit that notification bell. I appreciate your viewership. Stay safe and see you on the next video.